Hello, and welcome back as usual. Today we're going to talk about something a little different. We're going to talk about a possibility of automating some of the things you do for your business and personal life too, using various apps that kind of tie together to create a workflow. A lot of times, whatever we do, step number one winds up moving into step number two. Now, so we cannot do step number two until step number one is done. Example in real life would be you need to go buy bread and the store is quite a bit away, so you need to get in the car. So the first step would be to get to the store by getting into your car, not buying bread. If you went with buy bread as the first thing, then you would never even be able to do it because you haven't gotten to the store to be able to buy bread. So I'm sure everybody understands that's a simplistic approach, but you get the point, I'm sure. So if we're talking about apps, we're talking about ability to automate certain things in sequence and bring in potentially information from prior steps into the current step to be able to make the current step work out. So let's do a specific example. The app I'm talking about that kind of ties it all together is called relay.app, and that's the URL too, relay.app. If you go to relay.app, it'll take you to this screen, and it says AI-powered automations with a human in the loop. Human in the loop, they mean actually putting in a human to create the environment to start with, and then you can have it run completely automated. And so they have the little video here, example what you can do. They have some testimonials, people really like it, and talk about integrations, different things. Pricing, I'm going to talk a little bit more about that later because as you can see, they have a free tier, which is great. 2 users, plenty. 200 steps a month, that's something that's subjective, and then email support. So you can start for nothing, try it out, see what you think. And then they have these additional plans that basically essentially allow you to do pretty much the same thing, except you get more steps. And we'll cover the steps shortly here. The interface is very simplistic, very minimal, which is great. And on the left side, you have workflows, inbox, tutorials, manage apps. Tutorials have a bunch of videos you can go to and see, and they're definitely helpful. Manage apps allows you to tie to all kinds of different applications. You just simply pick the app you want, connect to it by clicking on connect on the right side, and then put in your credentials and you're good to go. And they have all kinds of stuff. They have AI, as you can see right here, OpenAI, which is what we're going to be using. And they have Anthropic, Claude. You can do different things with the App Store, Bitly, Calendly, ClickUp for task management, project management, DocuSign for signing documents. It automates all these different applications directly from this workflow interface and ties them all together. That's basically what Relay does. So as you can see, quite a few of them. Notion, Typeform. You can organize it in terms of preferences and all the details about your company, people you want to get to work with you on this stuff, billing, usual type stuff. So main thing we want to do is you just want to go to the workflows, and I set up this workflow already, and let's start by actually running it first and seeing what it does, because since you've never used it before or haven't seen it, you don't really know what it does. And then we'll go and explain how to do it so you can see how easy it is to set something like this up and make it happen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a test run. The idea is this: I want to take an email that looks something like this. Let's bring it up to full screen here. As you can see, it's a very simple email. Hello, I saw your latest video. It would be nice if you made more of these. Thanks for edifying the public, and signature. Okay, so you can see the subject line, YouTube test for Relay. We're good to go. So in Relay, we're going to go ahead and start a test run using this email. I'm going to say create test run based on this video, and ready to start. So this gives you an idea in real time how long it takes to do this. So as you can see, it's doing its thing, and now it says it's completed, and we can go back to the workflow. Okay, so why don't we look at the email and see if we have something. So now we have a new message here that was just sent. It was created, I should say. And this message is actually a reply to the message we just saw. And this was not created by me. This was created by this process here. So it says, hello, it's got my name there. Thank you for your kind words about my latest video. I'm glad you found it edifying. Here are a few quick notes. I appreciate your feedback, blah, blah, blah. Bottom line is, it creates a very nice response, which of course I can then edit however I want. And then I can click on send. It'll go to the person who sent me the email message in the first place. So this particular automation actually creates a reply to a message that was sent to me in an automated fashion, and it doesn't send it automatically, which it can do, by the way, but it creates it as a draft, so I can then take a look, adjust it if I need to, and then I can send it myself. So why would you not want to do this automatically? The simple answer is you'd want to, after you figure out that everything is exactly how you want it, and you've been doing it for a little while, and you can see it's totally safe to let it do its thing, then you can do it automatically without even checking it. But a lot of times we do want to make sure it's exactly what it should be, and we sometimes might want to adjust it before we send it. So we do it this way, and the reason you'd want to do it this way as opposed to writing it yourself is because all this content here in this email message was created by this process, not by me. If I don't have any changes to make, I can just click send and I'm done. And that's definitely faster than writing this whole thing by hand. Okay, so let's go and look at the process here. Let's bring it up a little bit so it's easier to read, see what it does. So when we look at this flow, we don't see any of the details. So the way you see the details is by clicking on the individual items. So the first item, and it says here, it's instant trigger, start a test run. That's how we can execute it. But we need some sort of a trigger to be able to run this process. And the trigger is right here, as you can see, email received. Okay, you can have email sent, label added. So there's a couple of different triggers you can use. So when we get an email, okay, then we're saying, look at the subject line, subject that contains the word YouTube. That's all I'm asking for. As long as the subject contains YouTube, it will trigger this particular automation, this particular workflow. Okay? And so it shows you examples of which ones, and you can select the particular one you want to work on. And then down below here, you can see it says output would be email. So we grab that email, and that becomes part of this process. We're not telling it about any details about it, just saying just grab it. Then we go to step 2 here, which, as you can see, the OpenAI logo. That means we're talking to GPT-4o in this case. And this is what I was talking about earlier about some of the things that it allows you to do to a certain extent. You can select GPT-4o to get going even with the free plan, but it'll only let you do about 10 automations. I shouldn't say automations. It'll let you do 10 runs. One of these flows, workflows, is called a run. So when they talk about runs, that's when you actually run one workflow that's considered to be one run. So you can select GPT-4o if you want, or any other that they have available, but after about 10 tries, 10 runs, it's going to tell you need to go and buy some tokens from OpenAI or Anthropic or whoever you're using. And so this way, then they allow you to use the OpenAI plugin here as opposed to ChatGPT plugin. You have to use OpenAI trigger here, not the ChatGPT one. So keep that in mind. It's not 100 or 200, it's actually 10. You can use other applications here by all means and automate those up to the limit they have, but not the AI stuff. So in my case, I want to use AI, I want to use GPT-4o, and I'm using the actual OpenAI tokens as opposed to the ChatGPT free capability here. And I'm saying use the latest variant. It says extract information from email body. So this is the field you can specify. In my case, I care about the body. I don't really care about anything else. It's asking for additional instructions. So this is when we do a little prompt to the AI that we're talking to. What do we want it to do? So I put in, you're an experienced writer with 4 decades of corporate and freelance work. Create an appropriate response to this email, keeping the response concise and to the point. Use bullet points where appropriate. Okay, so basically very simple. You can make this as elaborate or as simple as you want. And over here for additional context, you can add some additional stuff, which in my case, I don't need anything else. And then this would be like documents and different things that may be relevant to what you're trying to do with the prompt here. And then over here it says define expected output as follows. And so what we're trying to do, this is the key part, is it says data to extract. I'm extracting a field called response, which is what OpenAI and ChatGPT will return, is a field called response. And that's something I called it when I set it up initially. And so that's the field I'm going to be using later on. And if the model returns an error, then just fail. And then you can see every one of these steps can be tested right here. So every one, as you set up, you can go ahead and test one at a time to see if it's working or not. Okay. Let's just republish this with this one little change. Okay. Next thing, after we do this extraction, we wind up with whatever AI generated as the response field. And then we're going to the next step. And the next step, it says send email as, and I'm able to select from my different accounts, email accounts, which is handy. To, and in the to field, I selected email, and the field is the from field. This is exactly, I want the reply to go to the person who sent it to me, so it makes sense. And you can add CC, BCC, labels, all kinds of stuff. The thing here, it says subject, and I just put in RE colon, your typical reply deal, and then put in the same subject as the original email I had. And when you hover over it, you can see it comes up and actually shows you some additional information. Okay, then over here in the body, I just wanted to put the response that it generated. I don't want anything else. And I'm going to say thanks for your time and consideration, and I have the signature. Okay, so that's basically it for this step, and we're done. So when we run this process, let's say we run the email, let's generate another email. Let's get rid of this, and let's create a new email. We'll call it, send it to myself, and we'll call it YouTube experiment. Hello, I was wondering if you do web development. I do like your videos, some of them, and need a website for my business. Please let me know when you can. Thanks. Okay, so let's say we send something like this as an email. And we can see there's the email right there. And also we can see in the drafts we have 30 messages right now. And this was replied to the other emails at 9:22 it says. So basically you can see that we have 30 messages in the drafts, and we've got this email which you created right there. So we're good. Okay, let's go ahead and go back to our workflow, and let's start a test run. And you can see now it added this additional subject for YouTube experiment, which is the newest video. And if you click on the little eye thing, you can actually see the whole thing, what it shows there. And so you can verify some of the information, or if you want. It's certainly not mandatory at all. But in my case, I'm going to select this video, and I'm going to create a test run. And this is ready to run, so we're going to go ahead and do the test run. And if it dies at any point in time during this process, you'll see an error message and go from there. But you can see it takes literally just a few seconds to run. It's not anything complex or something time consuming. Now let's go back to the workflow. Let's go back to email. Let's go to drafts. And in drafts, we should have shortly a new email show up. And there it is right there. So it takes a few more seconds. And if we click on it, and let's make it a little bit bigger here, we can see it says regarding YouTube experiment, which is fine. Hello stranger, so it used my name there as I put in stranger. Thank you for reaching out for your interest in my videos. I do offer web development services. Here are a few details: custom website design tailored to your business needs, responsive designs for mobile and desktop. So you see it wrote all these things completely outside of what I actually told it to do. Now, I gave it some instruction, in general instruction, what to do in terms of response. but I didn't give it any specifics. So all this text, it was all generated by AI. So far, thank you for reaching out, your interest in my videos. So it addresses the fact that they indicated they like my videos, which is great. I do offer web development services, which I do. Here are a few details. Custom website design tailored for your business needs. Okay, that makes sense. Responsive designs for mobile desktop, makes sense. SEO optimization to improve search engine rankings. Integration with social media and other platforms. So all of this is true. It's a little bit generic, but that's because we don't know what kind of website they even want. But it's sufficient enough to be a nice response. Please let me know your availability for a consultation so we can discuss your project in more detail. Best regards, your name. It puts this in there. If I told the prompt not to put it in there, it wouldn't have. And basically what I should have done, because I also put in my own signature, so it doesn't make sense. So basically all I would do then is, in this case, I would just delete these 2 lines like that, and I'm ready to click send to send this email. It's perfect as is, without making any additional changes. Okay? And so that's the process. That's how this relay thing works. And you can tie any number of steps into any number of apps, and then you just turn on the trigger right here, and then it starts running automatically. You can tell it how often you want to run. Obviously, depending on what you're doing, it will determine what it's actually going to do. It'll email you if there's any kind of problem or anything, and that's it. So it's a nice automation platform. Again, going back to their pricing and everything, you can see that you can do some of the experiments initially, but if you really want to do some serious stuff, you really need to get a paid account, which at $9 a month is not much money at all, considering the amount of time it will save you and the amount of money it will save you because of time saved to create these kind of workflows for various things you might want to use in your business. This is a very simple example, but it shows the power. The easiest way to look at it is if you had a personal assistant that handled nothing but replies to your emails in a professional and decent way, this would be an excellent way to create one of these assistants, and then it could reply to all these emails for you, or at least create brunt of what needs to be done in terms of work and time involved by creating these drafts if you want, so you can control it completely. Or you have some that are automated, however you want to do it. And this way, by using AI in the process, you wind up having an assistant, personal assistant, that takes care of a ton of work. It doesn't require a salary. $9 a month, you're not going to hire anybody for $9 a month. It doesn't require benefits, it doesn't require anything, and it can run 24/7. And that's a super powerful way to augment your business and to really enable it to do a lot more with less, so to speak. If you like this video, feel free to like and share. If you don't like this video, then just simply share. And if you have any questions, anytime. Thank you.